More Spice and Wolf. I thought last episode was fantastic. It's just way better than the first two, and I just absolutely loved it. And I'm so thrilled, and hopefully we get more like that, and just more great times. Becoming more and more interested as each episode passes so far is always a wonderful thing for a series to do. Typically, because episode one has to be your hook, right? That has to be the thing that like really gets a lot of people interested that they want to continue. But I guess episode three technically, because they do the 3 episode rule for a lot of people. So it depends on how you look at it. But episode ones usually are like really strong, especially if they're just telling like one story that then and there, which this show kind of did, which makes me really happy that everything's just keeps getting better and better. So I'm hoping for some more good stuff. We found out that there's somebody that's kind of manipulating our boy, or not really, but at the same time kind of is using these people almost as his own pawns to kind of get in and scheme a little bit and make some money off of it, which is like all good and well for him. But Lawrence and Hollow are a little too smart for that, and now know that there's somebody kind of higher up, somebody that's moving everybody from up above and making all these moves and playing a little game of chess himself, it seems like. And we are kind of, I think we're going to get to the bottom of that. And if we're not, who really cares? But they're just kind of, they are aware at least that there is something along those lines kind of happening, and very cautious of that. So I'm excited for whatever we decide to get into here. I hope you guys enjoy. If you like it all, hit the like and subscribe. Do mean a lot to me. Feel free to stick around for the discussion. Let me comments for this episode or series. Let's get going with Spice and Wolf episode 4.
商談のことで手一杯で他の儲け話やよもやま話もできなかったから。
What other things might you be talking about, buddy?
駆け出しにとっちゃそいつは何よりのごちそうです。
That's true. It does help
教会で会
you.
うまではどの地方を通ってきたんだ？
Yeah, we have to gain a lot of
ルビン
info.
ハイゲンの北側から下ってきたんです。北の大遠征が始まるとあの辺りも物騒になりますからね。
という男は確認しました。うちの人間を使って奴のことをさ。
Oh, okay, okay. So they were using somebody else for that. Never mind. I thought I was like, why is he here? Okay, cool.
昨日の今日でまさかこんなことになるとは。
Surprised you guys are such
最
a
初
good
は
duo
半信半
here.
疑でしたが、聞けば単純な詐欺ではなさそうだ。手放そうとする商人たちから銀貨を一斉に買い取り、そこから儲けを出すというからくりですな。
Yep.
裏側にいる黒幕の儲けは莫大なものになるでしょう。
パイを公言せずに口をつぐむでしょう。銀貨の話は表に広まらず、黒幕たちは誰にも知られぬまま大量の銀貨を手元に集めることができる。
It's a beautiful plan, if we're being honest.
実に興味深い。紹介の上の人間にも話してみます。
ありがとうございます。
何事も経験ですからな。天の毛皮の香りの。
ミローネ商会が素早く動けんと儲けは水の泡じゃろ。
まあ
Sure.
大丈夫だろう。異国の地で商売をしているミローネ商会なら木を見る速さも一流のはずだ。
I also love how he just came from drinking to go drink more, right?
昔のことを思い出してな。
The past.
俺を見てか？
いや、今の主のようにやっとってはそれは見事にすっ転ぶんじゃ。間抜けじゃが底抜けに明るくての。わっちの狼の姿を見ても少しも驚かん。変といえば変じゃったが、いいやつじゃった。
How long ago was this? Could he possibly have been in relation to Lawrence?
お作を頼んだっていう。
そうじゃ、一線を引かずにわっちと親しくしてくれた。そう、初めての友人。
Aww.
本当に間抜けでな。わっちもよ呆れたわ。やることがあった気がするんじゃが、頭から一本。結構重要なことだった気がするんじゃが。
本当に重要なことならまた思い出すだろう。
As he looks at her. Yeah, you guys are friends. I hope you're more, but right now, you know, it works. It's nice to have somebody to keep you company, right?
支店長のリヒテンマールハイトと申します。こ
You look so evil.
受けさせていただきます。
つまりゼーレンの背後関係がつかめたということですね。
え
It was probably
彼
him.
の後ろにはメディオ商会がついています。
確か
その背後に貴族が控えているはずです。その特定には至っておりませんが、ご指摘通り先手を打てば
Alright.
どうにでもなります。
But that would make sense of needing somebody of higher status to be able to.
に入りましょう。
In order to make deals, you must make deals, right?
いいんじゃの。
トレニー銀貨が20万。いや、うまくすれば
Jesus.
40万は動くかもしれん。
That's a lot.
商会の利益が1割として、俺の取り分はその5分だから。 銀貨2000枚
That's a lot.
それだけあれば俺も町に店を構えることができる
Awesome.
まあうまくいっている。
You and your wife, right?
だから宿で寝てろと言ったろ
主一人でいいように丸め込まれないか心配でな。
That's sweet. That's so sweet.
ほらもう少し頑張れ宿はすぐそこだ
Grab on. Can't let you fall over in the middle of town. God, I wish I was him. Ah.
店の絵かや。
ああいつの間に起きたんだ
よく寝たおかげで酔いも覚めた。なかなかうまいの。
それほどでもないが
主の店かや。どこの町で出すんじゃ。
That's
決まった町
cute.
じゃない俺の理想
Oh,
の
that's
町の理
cute.
想の
I
店
like that.
自前の店を持つことは行商人の夢だからな俺も例外じゃないだがミノーネ商会との取引がうまくいけばその夢は現実になる
Something to look forward to in the future.
かや。
行商人は町から町へぐる
It's a lot less work, too.
儲けは出ない
Yeah.
だから1年のうちほとんどが2馬車の上にいる
You actually get a home and all, like, right. You can make friends. It's great. There's so much benefit to it. But if things go bad, you can't, like, dip as easy, you know?
主はそこから出なくなるじゃろ。わっちは一人で旅を続けるか、新たな連れを見つけ
What if we get you to your location
お前は
first,
堅
though?
牢ホロだ天の毛皮で稼いだ金もある
You're not even thinking about, here she is thinking,
わーい。
yeah. Well, she thought she finally made a new friend. You're gonna leave her.
ああお前が北に帰るまでくらいなら付き合ってもいいぞ
Aw. It's a little better. But she still doesn't want to be abandoned.
帰ってきてもそれですぐに店が持てるわけじゃないしな
本当かや。
Give her a little bit of hope.
嘘をついてどうするんだ
Hmm.
そのなんだ
And you know that too.
だからそんな顔するな
He's trying his best. Still a little upset though. You can tell by the ears being down. I can't even look at you. It's gonna be alright, buddy.
お前らしくも
Yeah, usually you'd be messing around right now.
目を見る。
夢
わっちが目を覚ますとな。誰もおらん。
Hmm.
ユエも、インティも、パロやミューリもおらん。どこにもおらん。わっちは何百年も生きられる。だからな、わっちは旅に出たんじゃ。絶対にまた会えると思ってな。
Yeah.
なのに、
The trouble with outliving those around you. Or being unable to find them.
して誰もおらんのは嫌じゃ。一人は会いた。一人は寒い。一人は寂しい。
同じような夢にうなされる
面目ない。
ああ顔中ベタベタじゃないか
Hmm.
ちょっと待ってろん
じゃがこれ。
書いては捨ててるんだそれにあの取引
And this is like a symbol of like, I'm okay tossing this out right now. It was like, why are they doing this in the dark? They could change to a different shot, but they chose
やだ
that.
というもんじゃありんせん。苦しい。
お
主、目は慣れたかい。
Mm. No.
どういう意味
主に言おうとしてた大事なことを思い出した。
Oh.
大きな儲け話にくちばしを挟もうという
Yeah.
敵も警戒するじゃろう。
Oh.
扉の外に3人。おそらく
Why do they gotta interrupt? Things were getting good. They were getting fucking good, and now you're just showing up. Losers. Out for war. We don't need that. We just want romance. I never thought about that either.
わっちのこの
But this
体
makes sense.
月明かりの下でとくと見やしゃんせ。
Glad you bounced back.
二馬車は諦めんとダメじゃな。奴らが馬を殺しても何の得にもならぬ。
Oh my god. He's got the mask and everything on him. Or the bag. Walking around with their clubs. Jesus. And together we go.
いくらか持ってくれる。
Just so you don't lose her.
暑いな。
わっちが宿すぎだからね。
Gotta stay warm.
先はミローネ紹介だ。絶対に逃がすな。
And they split up to make sure. Oh shit. The others are behind you. Yep. Where do we go from here?
全部終わったら買い物に行こう。
Together, right?
串とか帽子とか買ってやるよ。
何を企んでおる。
別にせっかく綺麗な髪だからさ。
If I was her, I'd just turn into the wolf right now and fuck him up. I guess they're in the middle of a town, though. She can't really be doing that. She sent some things.
逃がすな。もうすぐ援軍も来る。
いい考えがある。
Which is?
わっちが大通りに出て奴らを引きつける。その間に主がミローネ商会に。
Buy us some time.
わっちは堅牢を掘る。
Right.
簡単には捕まりんせん。じゃが、主だけ捕まった時、誰がミローネ商会と掛け合うんじゃ。主の手の内はミローネ商会に知られておる。
They trust you, brother. Yeah.
言って敵方に寝返ってもいいのかと脅す以外ない
Oh, yeah.
お前の耳と尻尾を見たらメディオ商会はお前を絶対に教会に連れて行くぞ。
捕まる
I just won't get caught. It's alright.
1日くらいなら耳と尻尾は隠せる。その間に助けに来てくれれ。
お前な。
主、金を稼いで店を持つんじゃろうが。
This is a dream, right? We can't miss out on this opportunity. And this is the favor I'm repaying.
不義理な狼にするつもりかや。
バカ言うな。捕まれば殺されるんだ。釣り合うわけないだろ。
孤独は死に至る病じゃ。十分釣り合う主を信じとる。
Believe in her, brother. Yep. All you gotta do is just trust her too. She escapes. Oh, they didn't think to turn. What if he gets caught beforehand? No, plot convenience. We can't let that happen, right? Oh, but let him in.
待て。おい。その男をこちらに渡せ。
貴様ら、ここはラオンディール公国第
Don't even gotta explain what's going on. They just know.
大ミローネ公爵が経営するミローネ商会だぞ。
Jesus, that's a
この
handful
策
to
は公
say.
爵の持ち物であり、敷地内にいる者は公爵の客人。そして公爵の客人はラオンディール大公の庇護のもとに保護される。いいか、その棒でここの者を撃つということは、太公陛下の大座を撃つ者と心得よ。
You committed a great crime. We will catch you now.
私がこちらに商談を持ちかけたことがバレたのでしょう。それを阻止するためだと思います。
Uh-huh.
阻止するために。
私の連れが奴らに捕まっている可能性があるのです。商会の力で取り返せませんか。
騒ぎを聞きつけ、奴らを尾行したうちの者が無理やりといった様子で連れられていく間にと報告してきました。ためにホロさんを捕まえたのでしょう。
She was operating with you.
私たちがこちらと組んでメディア商会の邪魔をすることを防ぐためです。
But they wouldn't just take her. What sense would that make?
今ロレンスさんたちを人質にしてトレニー銀貨にまつわるからくりを我々が把握しているということですよ。ロレンスさんたちがどうなろうと関係がないのです。こちらもかなりの金額を投資しています。そこから手に入る途方もない利益とロレンスさんに恨まれること、その2つを天秤にかければ申し訳ありませんが、私は商会の利益を取ります。ですが、これは
Bro gave it up. For what? At what cost? Like all the memories they made. He has all these visions. It's not short either. Showcase the attachment he's really starting to gain.
私も妻が同じ状況になれば落ち着いてはいられないかもしれません。メディオ商会も分かっているでしょう。それなのに彼らはあなた方を狙った。ならばあなた方が我々との交渉の材料になると思っているはずです。心当たりがあ
I
るんです
don't,
ね。
so let me know, lords.
どうした？
Oh no.
先ほど文が投げ込まれました。一連の関係のものかと。
狼と狼の住む森。
狼は預かった。教会の扉は常に開かれている。家に狼が入らないように家人と共に扉を閉じておけ。
Okay.
私の連れていた娘ホロは豊作を司る狼の化身なのです。
I'm... chase is on, Hollow's been captured, the truth has been revealed. A lot of stuff really went down here, which was pretty awesome, like actually pretty awesome. And I thought that was quite great. There's some things I'm uncertain of or unsure of, so we'll talk about those and you guys can provide some feedback on those. That'd be pretty cool. But also some of them I think will be answered as we wrap things up, I'd assume, with this little saga, which probably could be done in like the next episode. Assuming that actually happens, who knows? It could drag on for another like 8. I don't know. I don't care either way. But I'm just saying, by the end, I'm assuming I'd have those answers. But it'd be cool to clarify, I guess, some things too. With all that being said, though, the favorite thing and the best thing that came out of this episode is just the connection and relationship that we can see continuously still growing between Hollow and Lawrence, which is something I feel like I'm going to say every episode. But it definitely was extremely highlighted throughout this time, especially with the scene of her being completely down at home, of us kind of seeing, or her seeing this drawing, the excitement that he has behind the idea of opening his own shop and finally, you know, being able to settle down, not have to constantly be on the move and work the ways that he does, you know, actually have a home, start forming relationships and friendships and things. And all those things kind of get her down because they make her reflect on her unfortunate scenario where she's kind of gone out of the way and done the things that he's basically doing his entire life, right? And she's been on the move and doing all those, thinking that she'd be able to get back and actually meet with these friends and see all these people. And unfortunately, by the time that she's able to come back to this, all those people are gone, unable to ever meet or see them again. And it's a lonely thing. She unfortunately is left lonely for the remainder of her life up to this point now, again, not having anyone or anything to wake up to and actually see and be excited about and have these conversations and enjoy journeying together and do all of this. So being able to be with Lawrence here is such a beautiful thing for her, and she absolutely loves it. So hearing the idea that he wants to do something like this would unfortunately leave somebody who's on the journey that she's on alone, and that's not at all kind of what she wants. Also, as just more of an indication of like, we're forming this relationship and I finally have a friend after how long, and you're going to just leave me as well. It's like everybody kind of abandons me and leaves me, which really sucks, especially from her perspective. It is a little selfish, let me just say, for her to have this kind of mindset. Well, I get the feelings and everything that she's forming here. The fact that you are well aware yourself of the importance of like having all these things around you, and then this person kind of wants to have those things for himself and set up his life and have like a good opportunity to kind of live out the rest of his life with situations like that and forming these relationships and stuff with people around him, and actually having a place he can call home and everything. And then you don't want him to have that. You like almost take it away because you're a little like only focused on like how it's going to make you feel and result, is definitely a little selfish out of her. But I mean, it's reasonable. Like, it makes plenty of sense why she's feeling the way that she does after so long, especially because it's hard for her to just like stay in one location, having to hide who she is and do all these things. So returning home is like really her only option. But when she returns home, she's able to do all those things. So it's more of, I guess, a reflection on her losing Lawrence as that person, I guess, up to this point. But we ended up having such a intimate moment kind of created between the two. As a result of all of this, of Lawrence kind of realizing that and not wanting to take that away from her, and also just kind of realizing, and we especially see that at the end with him reflecting on how important that she's actually become in his life, and how many memories that they've really made in such a short span of time here. That he really has to figure out, all right, what the fuck should I be doing here to kind of reassure her, not make her sad, and, you know, keep things kind of up and the vibe of everything good. Ends up kind of comforting her and doing what he can. And while he struggles at first and doesn't really know the direct and correct approach for him to kind of take here, pulls it together, and I think really does it excellent by, you know, crumpling up his paper. You know, it's just a draft like everything else that I've always done. None of this is set in stone. It's not actually going to happen. These are just ideas and things that I'm kind of throwing away, letting her use it and destroy it almost by using it as like something to blow her nose into, and trying to just kind of get her mood back up a little bit. It was cool just to learn a lot about her too, and the things that she's kind of gone through on top of what we learned a little bit of last time too, or I think it was the second episode, one of them, where she talks about all the issues that she's had to go through as well, and unfortunately had to face plenty of humans and people kind of fighting her off within the woods and all this too, having to run away from people or having to kill people in the process or whatever it is that comes as a result of it. It's really traumatic and unfortunate things that have happened throughout her life, so of course she's going to be triggered by her response and have all of this, instantly thinking that she's going to lose something like that again, and have to be left alone. So that makes plenty of sense. It also would make the intro scene so much more strong strong with this series of having this little girl who you'd assume would be her daughter, and the daughter of her and Lawrence would be the assumption there, would make so much more sense, especially if it's, say, in a time that Lawrence had passed, which I did talk about because he wasn't present in that scene at all. It doesn't mean that's the case, but it also could mean that it is the case, that she doesn't want to be left behind and not have anybody like that. Now, she's never actually left alone. She always does have somebody. She won't be lonely. She has that person to wake up to every morning, and has that person and that thing still within her life. And you could only hope that as she ends up getting older, has like grandkids and does all this, because somebody like Hollow will live for however long that she does. And who knows, it could be eternity due to her being this god and everything anyways, right? If all of that's the case, she could constantly have like this family keep coming around her, and she would have someone or something like this, a lasting legacy of people that can constantly comfort her and be around Hollow would be fantastic. So that would make that scene just so much more strong for what we would get. Discussions being had here. We basically have somebody set up. I took this wrong at first. I was like, oh, this guy, he might be the dude, and he's just listening into how Zaren's actually performing and doing all this. I don't know why I thought that clearly would not be the case, but I think they just made him look so sus by zooming in and like framing it in a way that he was the center point of the screen at a certain point, like Hollow, and everybody was aware of it. But in reality, he's just somebody that was informed through us to keep an eye on this guy, so at least he can have his face and understand who he is, and then they can kind of track him down and track who he might be, you know, working with, and get to the bottom of this a little bit more. I like how he just went from a place of having like drinks and meeting and all that just to more drinks afterwards, which I think is pretty great. We basically have two big people working within this, with the Malone Trading Company and the Medio Trading Company. So that's our two parties really involved in this scenario. Lawrence getting the Malone Trading Company kind of on his side here, and informing them of this entire situation while they trace down Zaren and the people that he's kind of working with. Hollow reminisces a little bit about her old friend, somebody that she left behind and lost at some point. The first person that really became her friend, right? Her first friend that she says this is the person that she's talked about basically every episode up to this point. How they didn't, you know, fear her in her other form, and how they were always somebody there for her, and it made her so happy basically to have somebody like this and have that person. She remembers something that she needs to tell us or talk to us about, but of course forgets until the perfect moment that we end up getting a little bit later on. We have our meeting here where we kind of set things up. We basically create this sort of plan where we can make a bunch of money as a result off of this, assuming that everything that Lawrence has said is true, and assuming that everything is kind of being set up. And it's a win for all parties basically involved here, except for Zaren and everybody a part of the Medio company. But at the same time, it would work out for the people that we're invested in, right? And the people that we actually care for here. So it's a smart strategy basically to get people like that involved. And he's doing everything, I think, proper and correct in this moment. Very excited about the things to come possibly as a result of this, and starts drawing up drafts and everything of what his shop would look like ideally, and everything that he wants, and, you know, how his future is going to kind of go, telling the story basically to Hollow, who comes pretty upset about this in this moment, you know, reminiscing. Of course, it's somebody who basically lives for eternity at this point, right? Having to see plenty of people outlive them over and over, and then it gets to the point where you maybe don't want to form relationships or do any of these things because you know those people are going to outlive you, and it makes it so hard for you to kind of care at a certain point, or to trust and latch on to people, because you know they're just going to end up leaving you in a blink of an eye compared to what it is that is your life. That it's really unfortunate for her to have. So Lawrence tries to comfort her a little bit. He tells her some things. Of course, she acts like she's happy and puts on the smile, but you can tell by the ears, right? She tells that she can tell the lies. We can tell when she's not too happy either, of course, by how down she gets in this moment. And I love him trying his best and trying to comfort her and allow her to feel better about that in this moment, you know, reassure her that things are going to be okay. He has no intentions of really leaving or doing anything like that. I love like how symbolic this can kind of be with her being able to crumple this up for him, of course, and blow into it and destroy this future that he almost has, which I think is great. Of course, in this moment, remembers. I love this shot of just us being in the dark and him walking along and trying to like find out where the bed is and all that. It makes sense why it's here. At first, I was like, "What the fuck are they doing?" But I mean, it makes sense. But I just love it. And then him being like caught off guard. It also makes sense because now he wasn't able to see that Hollow was actually in his bed at this time. So she pulls him in here and we get a really cute moment. Things are getting great. I am very excited in this moment, and development's about to happen until she's like, "Oh shit, I remember what I was supposed to tell you." There's people here, and we have to make an exit. A very epic exit. I mean, of course, jumping out of the window and everything as these men with bags over their heads are kind of running after us. They do a great job at animating this and really showing long hallways or alleyways and directions and stuff that people can kind of go. The music picks up, and it does a really intense job, or makes this a lot more intense. And I think it's really excellent. Them kind of messing around with each other and just saying these things. And it's like they're having fun in this moment, really feeling the rush for it, which is great until they basically end up getting cornered at this point. Hollow makes up a plan, which in theory is great, but at the same time is really unfortunate, putting all of her faith and trust that Lawrence will go out of his way and do everything in his power to be able to get her. Also trusting herself that she'll be able to figure out whatever that she needs to do to kind of escape and get back to him. So as a way of repaying him for the things that he's kind of done for her, she's like, I'm going to sacrifice myself in this moment. Absolutely something that he doesn't want to happen, but he kind of just is like, yeah, I mean, I guess, until we see later when he realizes that she really has been caught and he thinks that his back is kind of against the wall. He does a great job here at running here and kind of informing everybody behind here, and it works perfectly of them kind of coming at him, threatening them, being like, you have to back up off here, and you know, things are going to get bad for you, you know, legally you're punishable, it's punishable, of course, with what you're trying to do. And it works out great until we have our meeting here again, where Lawrence is like, okay, I have to inform you of everything that happened, but overlooking the idea that this is all kind of set in stone already, right? Why exactly, what would be the reason that they target after you? It can't just be directly about this deal and everything that's happened, because all of that's kind of set in motion and everything's occurring. That what would be the purpose of going after you? You'd be like the least likely person that they would target, especially not even you, but especially Hollow. She would be the last one that they would really have to go after, wondering like why exactly that is the case. And of course, at this point, just breaks down and realizing like, oh, I made a fucking big mistake. I love how long and extended the shot is of the different moments that they kind of had together and all the smiles and faces and everything that she makes, really showing you how much that she's really left an impact on him and really means to him over these last couple episodes. Immediately now has to go out of his way and tries to leave before he kind of gets cut off here. And he's like, brother, if you know something, you gotta spill it. And at this point has to kind of reveal the truth, which we don't really want to happen, especially because they put it literally on the title of the letter and in the letter about the wolf and everything. So we gotta put that out there. But basically they got her, right? And they mentioned that they're essentially going to turn her over here to the church, which is not, it's the last thing that she kind of wants to do. And that's where we're going to end up having to go to rescue at this point, which is not ideal, but we must move, right? We must take action because this is somebody dear to us. The ending scene, Hollow takes her aggression and she looks forward here, ready to fight before somebody walks in. She seems like her expression drops almost as if she's like, oh, it's you. Like she's not too worried, but also I guess it could have been like a shock of like not believing that it was this person that she was seeing. I have zero guesses, I gotta be honest, as to who this is. I mean, I could guess it would be like Zarin, which like I don't know why that would matter too much that he's the one kind of showing up here, but I'd assume it's somebody that she knows, whether it is the guy that Lawrence knows, whether it's somebody that she's met sometime in the past that we're not aware of. And by the guy Lawrence knows, I'm talking about the coin dealer, the guy that we were working with before, who was telling us that he didn't notice anything or whatever, which possibly could have been a hint towards him lying on behalf of, you know, this not being beneficial towards himself and the things that he's doing. But I guess it could also just be a variety of other people that we've been introduced to at small moments that I'm not really aware of. I mean, maybe even the person who was like investigating for us and listening in, so he knew what Zarin looked like and everything, but I don't understand why that would be him. All of this will get answered as we go a little bit further, but that's kind of where we're at. Thought that was pretty cool. I'm very excited to kind of get into a lot more. Definitely like the strongest for building the chemistry and everything between the characters that we've had so far. A very key episode for that. So I think these last two have been absolutely fantastic, and I'm thrilled to really kind of get into more. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you liked it all, hit the like and subscribe. It means a lot to me. Feel free to check out the other videos on the channel and comments of this episode or series. I'll be back for the 5th episode very soon, or next week, I guess. You guys have a good one. Peace.